Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from the channel Redolescence, and thank you so much for tuning in, really appreciate it. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company L'Artisan Parfumeur, and this one is called Noir Exquis, so stay tuned. Now, before I start the review, I just want to mention that if you are interested in picking up this scent, you may do so at notino.com. They are the ones that provided me with this bottle for review. I asked for this bottle, so very special thank you to Notino. They have great customer service, really good prices, a wide selection of designer and niche fragrances, and my favorite thing about them is that they're located in Edison, New Jersey, so I get my packages in like 2 days, so that's awesome. So this fragrance by L'Artisan Parfumeur is one that unfortunately has flown under the radar. I have seen some other reviews on it online here on YouTube actually, and I think that those reviewers did a great job. This one in particular, Noir Exquis, it's a 2015 release. It was composed by Bertrand Duchaufour, who of course is my favorite perfumer. I think I mentioned this a few times before. He's done fragrances like Jubilation 25 by Amouage. He's also done Jardin du Poète by Eau de Thalie, Enchanted Forest by the Vagabond Prince, a bunch of fragrances for Phuong Dong. The list goes on and on. And this one, 2015 release, it's only a couple years old now, so it's a relatively recent release. And L'Artisan Parfumeur is a house that's been around for a long time. And this is a fragrance that features notes of vanilla, chestnut, coffee, tonka bean, heliotrope. I mean, some of my favorite heavy hitters in there. So I'm really excited to tell you what I think of this scent, but let's go ahead and start off the review by taking a closer look at the presentation. So here's the presentation for Noir Exquis. The name translates to exquisite black. You have L'Artisan Parfumeur laser etched on the side there. The name of the fragrance here in the front, Eau de Parfum concentration. L'Artisan Parfumeur logo at the top of the cap. The cap does click into place, and the distribution on the atomizer is a little narrow, but it gets the job done. Let's go ahead and continue with the smell. So I originally tried this fragrance for the first time a few months ago at a perfume store in New York. And I tried a few fragrances from the Mon Numero collection, and a lot of them are really good. I think I remember really liking number 10. And I also tried this one, and I remember just being smitten by it. I fell in love with it. And that's because it features some of my favorite notes. And for those of you who know me, you know that I definitely am geared towards gourmand fragrances. I love vanilla, love tonka bean, love coffee, love honey. You give me a fragrance like Awajan by Parfum de Marly, Herod by Parfum de Marly, Angelman, I'm going to be all over them like white on rice because I love sweet fragrances. And this fragrance is no exemption. It opens up with this gourmand vanilla note. It's very full and robust. You have a little bit of honey there just to add this delectable yet juxtaposition quality about it where you're not sure if you're smelling more vanilla or more honey, but it definitely has that gourmand, almost dare I say confectionery vibe about it. But then you also have the warmth from the coffee beans down beneath everything else with a little bit of chestnut just to add this uniqueness about it. And I know there's another L'Artisan fragrance called Méchant Loup that I've also reviewed, and that one contains chestnut too. So if you're interested in how that, fragrance is composed or of the similarities between the two because they were both done by the same perfumer, I would highly recommend you check that one out as well. It's called Méchant Loup. But this one, it has those gourmand notes, a little bit of that heliotrope in the base, which kind of smells like almond. I think it's such a well done scent. And I think what I like the most about it is that in the opening, at least, it reminds me of one of my other favorite fragrances called El Born by Carner Barcelona. As soon as you spray it, that first spray is going to be really similar to El Born. El Born, the vanilla comes across much more robust. It's a bit juicier. It's a bit sweeter. It has a boozy quality about it too. Like one of the most amazing introductions that I've ever smelled in a fragrance. And this one does something similar to it, but it's not as outlandish. It's not as robust, and it's a bit more conservative, if I may use that word. And then once it dries down, it really just becomes all about the vanilla and the tonka bean. They're kind of like vying for the attention of the wearer. And I think the vanilla comes across loud and clear in this one, especially in the dry down. This fragrance actually reminds me of a room spray that I had when I was much younger. And as soon as I sprayed this on and I let it dry down, so it wasn't as soon as I sprayed it on, but in the dry down, I was reminded of my old bedroom. You know, what color the walls were, what painting I had hanging on the wall, what the formation of the furniture was like. Like, it really reminded me of that room spray that I had. So this fragrance, for that reason, is very nostalgic and poignant to me. Would I recommend this fragrance to somebody? Absolutely, I would. I think it's a great fragrance, especially for the price point. But if you can afford to shell out a few more bucks, I would recommend trying El Born by Cardinal Barcelona. I think that fragrance and that house have some fantastic fragrances. But if you want something a bit more inexpensive, something that you can get very quickly, very easy access to this one, definitely give it a shot. It's definitely in that same family, but in the dry down, it does become a lot more about the vanilla, and it doesn't have the boozy quality of El Born. But all in all, I think it's a wonderfully composed scent, very, very well done. And by the way, the name Noir Exquis translates to exquisite black. So I just figured you should know that. Let's go ahead and finish off the review by taking a closer look at my overall assessment. First up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, I do find this to be a very unique scent, and it did remind me of, like I said, a room freshener that I had a few years back, and it reminded me of my bedroom and what it used to look like, and it's a very nostalgic and sentimental fragrance for me. So for that reason, I love wearing it. I think it's very unique, very easy to get along with. It has those aphrodisiac qualities about it because of the presence of the vanilla, but it's a really nice blend with all of the other ingredients, the tonka bean, the heliotrope, the coffee, the ebony wood, the chestnut. Very unique. It's definitely a fragrance that I would recommend you go out there and you try for yourself, especially if you're a fan of those more gourmand ingredients like vanilla and honey. Longevity on this one was solid. I got about 6 hours, which is average, and I'm okay with that. Projection on this one was really good for the first hour and a half, but it didn't become a skin scent up until the 5th hour of application. So while it's going on your skin, it's going good, but it never projects beyond an arm's length, so just bear that in mind. As far as versatility for this one is concerned, I probably wouldn't wear this one in the dead of summer for obvious reasons. I mean, in summertime, you want your citrus, you want your freshies, your aquatics, and this one you're going to get coffee, vanilla, and chestnut, and honey. So you probably don't want to wear this in the dead of summer, but that's just a recommendation. And then last up, in terms of the presentation, I love L'Artisan's presentations. It's nothing too fancy. It's not a Bikilian coffin, and it's not resting on a bed of silk, but, you know, it's a pretty unique and iconic bottle look, and you can spot it from a mile away. Final verdict on this one is I love it. I do. I don't like it more than El Born, though, so I just got to be honest there. No, El Born is like one of my darlings, and I love that fragrance, and I'm so happy I have 2 bottles in my collection. I was just, fearful of not having, more than one when this one runs out, because I've been wearing it quite frequently. But this is a great substitute if you want something close in smell, about maybe 70% close in smell. I think it's a great fragrance, and you guys ought to check it out, especially for the price point. So thank you so much for tuning in. That was my review of Noir Exquis by L'Artisan Parfumeur. If you are interested in picking up this fragrance, you may do so at Notino.com. Once again, they are the ones that provided me with this fragrance for review. They asked me what I wanted. I picked this one because I remember smelling it a while back and loving it in stores. So thank you so much, Notino. Really appreciate that. Once again, links are going to be down below. And also, please don't forget to subscribe for future videos, top 10s, giveaways, unboxings, and enable notifications so you get that push notification as soon as I put out a video, so you never miss any of my future content. Thanks again for tuning in. Love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care.